58 years have passed since the huge rockfall caused by the flood. Residents are aware that danger may be ever present, as there are 300 unstable rocks in Norway. Experts note new cracks are appearing on Mount Akerns, which could lead to another flood. Viewers are led through the Norwegian landscape, along which a man named Christian rides. He returns home, where his family is discussing moving to another town. The wife is trying to fix the plumbing, with help from her young daughter and eldest son Sondre. Over family dinner, the man explains that the new house is controlled remotely, using a special app on his phone. It turns out that Christian works at a geological activity center, where he spends a lot of time. The man monitors the equipment in the science center, and monitors the stability of the rocks. His professionalism and experience in the field of geology, appreciated by the oil company, and offered favorable terms. The team of geologists say goodbye to the chief, and says warm words, as a sign of gratitude for his good work at the center. After a celebratory lunch, the team continues to work and notices that the water table has dropped dramatically. The bad news alarms the geologists, but moments later the level stabilizes. Christian's family packs up and prepares to move to another town. Throwing out old work papers, Christian notices his son, who is sad by the ocean. It turns out that Sondre does not want to leave, because he is used to his home. Christian tries to support his son, because the new city will give him more opportunities. On the way out of town, the family stops in a stream of cars. Christian examines the rock, and notices strange phenomena. The geologist decides to return to the science center, and warn the workers of the danger. The man explains to the geologist that groundwater cannot disappear quickly, and this is a good reason to check the condition of the rocks. If the rock slabs rub, the groundwater can cause major flooding. Christian and a colleague, named Arvid, go on a reconnaissance trip to find out the condition of the signals. They stop at a control measuring center, in the middle of the rocky tracks. The guys go down into the soil depressions, and check the signals to prevent system failures. Christian finds a broken wire, and concludes that there is movement in the middle of the rock masses. The geologist sets a panic mood in the center, but the workers do not consider his conclusions. The geology team sets a yellow alert level, and promises to be vigilant for groundwater signals. Christian returns to the car, but the children have long since left for the hotel where their mother works. This situation greatly upset the woman, but she allows the family to stay the night in the room. Sondre stayed at the hotel, and Christian and his daughter went home. They spread out mattresses on the floor and lay down to rest. In the evening, Christian revisits old photographs and memories to calm down a bit. At night, the geological center's readings go down hard. Geologists think the rock is starting to shift. The scientists restart the program, and go to check the sensors. Geologists call Christian, and report that they have observed a narrowing of groundwater turns. The signals record small earthquakes, and a sharp decrease in all indicators. Christian monitors the results of the signals, and discovers severe disruptions, leading to cliff collapses. The man contacts Arvid to warn him of the danger. The situation called for quick solutions, but the rock slides began all too quickly. Jacob's foot got stuck between the slabs of rock, and he was left immobile. Arvid tries to help his colleague, but the rock slide leaves them trapped. The groundwater sensors are rapidly dropping in all places, and the signal is lost. The team triggers a red alert level using the safety button. A loud signal goes off over the sleeping town. The geologists, who have been in the rock depressions, try to get out. What the seismologists had feared would come true: a violent tectonic shift causes the mountain range to collapse. Now a gigantic and deadly tsunami is headed straight for the people. Residents of the city are given exactly 10 minutes to get to safety. The conclusions of an experienced geologist turn into a terrifying reality, forcing people to seek safe havens. The hotel workers are also alarmed by the alarms. The girls intend to get all the guests out of their rooms, and evacuate to the top. Christian, along with his terrified daughter, run out of the house. They go to the hotel to pick up their mother and Sondre. The girl does not answer the phone because she is busy evacuating visitors. Christian plans to pick up his wife, but she refuses. The girl asks that Julia be evacuated and leave the danger sooner. On the way out of town, a huge stream of cars forms. Christian realizes that with the speed of traffic, after a few minutes everyone will be covered by a killer wave. Together with Julia, they rush up the mountain to provide a safe place. The big problem becomes missing Sondre. When the girl notices her son's absence, it gets very late. Time is almost running out, but she refuses to evacuate without Sondre. On a high rise, people begin to notice a huge wave approaching. Christian sends his daughter to run to the top with relatives, while he himself helps people evacuate as quickly as possible. The man notices a woman whose leg is stuck between two cars. Soon the wave is approaching so fast that Christian doesn't have time to get up. The man closes in the car, which is filled with a killer wave moments later. In the meantime, the girl finds Sandre, skateboarding the lower corridors of the hotel. Once outside, they notice a huge wave, which, swiftly, destroys the entire city. The girls remember that there is a small shelter in the basement that could save lives. On their way there, the team loses one woman caught in an iron support. Remaining in the shelter, they block the doors and escape the flood. The deadly wave subsides, and Christian regains consciousness. The woman who was sitting next to him turns up dead. Christian remembers his young daughter, and rushes up to the top to find out about the condition of the inhabitants. Jacob returns to the research station, and informs the team that Arbit is dead, due to rock fragments. A joyful Julia hugs her father, and calms his thoughts. The only thing that upsets the man is his inability to reach his wife and Sandre. At this time, visitors to the hotel, trying to get out of the shelter. The wave has overwhelmed the corridors of the hotel, and it is almost impossible to open the doors. The city is destroyed. There is emptiness everywhere, and wrecked cars. In the place of the tourist buses, Christian finds many corpses, among them small children. Soon, the shelter fills with water almost to the ceiling, and the girl decides to open the doors. As she swims underwater, she realizes that the locks are too tightly closed. Philip begins to panic, and loses hope of rescue. The man says he doesn't want to die and starts drowning Sandre. The mother is forced to strangle Philip in the water to save her son. Christian continues to search for his family. The man arrives at the hotel, and tries to find survivors after the terrible flood. The mother and Sandre hear Christian's footsteps, and try to convey their location by sound. The shelter is deep underground, and the man hears almost no suspicious sounds. After a while, the woman begins to use a wrench to attract Christian. Now, the man realizes that there are survivors left. He makes his way to the door of the asylum, where his wife meets him. It's a small matter to save Sandre, who has run out of strength to fight. The water rises higher and there is hardly any air left. They finally agree, and begin the journey to safety. Sandre rapidly loses consciousness, but Christian helps her swim to her mother. The geologist is left completely without air, and doesn't have time to swim to land. Sandre meets her mother, and explains that Christian is swimming near the exit. It turns out that the man really did lose consciousness, and almost died in the filled shelter. The mother pulls Christian out, and performs CPR. She and her son go to great lengths to bring Christian to consciousness. Moments later, the father wakes up, and the family is incredibly happy to be reunited. It remains to retrieve his young daughter from the summit. Julia stayed with Christian's relatives, so time passed quickly. The evacuated residents slowly regain consciousness, and head home. The cracks in Mount Acherns are constantly being monitored, because every year they greatly increase. All the experts are sure that the collapse and flooding will happen. It is only important to know the approximate time of the disaster.